Inspired by those back pages. I don't typically like to show my face on camera. That's almost too much more than I can take. But you know, hey, I have kids and no videos, and I just watched his video about, hey, make a memory. It's not always about you. If you don't want to be on screen, make content. It's not going to be perfect. So I really appreciated what he said, and so here we go with the PSA reveal bulk order that returned after a long time, and you'll see some good, you'll see some bad, and you'll see some ugly. So here we go. Bye-bye. Okay, YouTube, Bald Rhino back with his first installment of the bulk order he received back. This is the Jerry Johnson in action, 1972 tops. This was a vintage breaks pool. I'm gonna have a lot of those in this particular order. You'll see vintage and some pack pulled modern, but I collect the in action, and they're tough to get centered, so, and tough to get in high quality, so that's a nice 7. This is another a checklist, and obviously these are hard to get in a high grade like this, PSA 8. This was also vintage breaks. Only Bald Rhino would enter a vintage break and get a checklist, but it is the first one, 1 through 132, so it's a nice card. And then this one is just to complete a collection, the Hall of Fame set, 1965 tops. I didn't really care what grade it was in because it's not really one of the cards I like in the set, but that does complete it, which is nice. I don't do sets very much, but I did this one and really enjoy this set. Then, you know, here we go with some failures. The 1998 73 reprint of Clemente here. This one is really not good. You can't, that's just worthless, a complete waste of time and money, but I thought it was better than that. I do love that card. That's his last card prior to his death. So it's a good one to have. And then, you know, I don't know what the deal is, but I have a tough time sometimes with the paper right out of the pack. This is the metallic snowflake card for George Springer, and I think he's just so damn fun to watch. What a great player, so I do collect him, but those are tough grades. Those are tough. I submitted a Kuna and got a 9 as well, so if you have metallic snowflake, I'd encourage you to submit it because they are not an easy grade. If you get a 10, that's a nice return on your investment. Here is, you know, Jim Palmer, and beautiful card. I thought it might come back at 10, but the centering was just not good enough, but the 9 is really pretty. Nice looking card. That was also a vintage break. Here's a pack pulled, and I did a lot of pack pulled 9s in this bulk order, just brutal. But this is the French Text, which is a really tough pull of Alex Bregman. And so if you ever think, oh yeah, everything's pack pulled 10, that's a pack pulled 9 right there. It does get better. I have a couple really good ones in this order. Every order at PSA, that's why they'll stay in business forever, is that they all can't be bad, right? And so this one is one of my favorite cards of all time. This is Springer. Sorry for the glare there, but that picture is ridiculous, and it's a PSA 10. I just love that card. He's one of my favorite players, but that's just great. And that's obviously the 150 as well. That's a pretty rare card, Leaping, 150th anniversary. All right, so here's the guy that should win the MVP in the American, DJ LeMahieu. Here's his, again, I submitted a whole bunch of 2011 Bowman Chrome cards, draft, and all of them came back 9s, except the Trout came back an 8.5, which I got a kick out of. But DJ LeMahieu, beautiful card. He's a solid player. All right, let's do our Trout, shall we? Here's the beauty. This is the Leaping. And I can tell you what, I was a complete disaster on the 2019 Topps cards, and I only did this one, I think my only 10, maybe one other. So I was happy to get that, because you can't submit just the base card and not get a 10. This one was fun because this was an eBay purchase raw, which I never do because people sell raw cards because they can't get high grades typically. There's a few collectors out there, maybe Greg Moore's cards and others, that You can look and see, and he, for whatever reason, doesn't submit them, and then come back high grade, but that's still very rare. And so this was a PSA pink refractor of the Trout Master. On the high end side, this was a huge victory. I decided that I was just going to try to buy one Trout or two Trouts on a high end card, and the heritage set, because I love it. And this was the Error No Black Ink that came back at 10. Really a short print here, and you can see there. That's the Error on there. So that was a big victory. Really happy to have that. Trout's making it happen for me. And then on the huge victory side, where we all get a victory that makes the order great, this was a vintage break raw card pulled from the pack. And I thought it could do well, but I'm always concerned about vintage cards because there's so many through. I think PSA does look at pops, but in this particular instance, it pulled a 9, and that is a rare grade for that vintage card. It's low pop, so this was paid for the order, nearly paid for it, and I just got to decide whether I want to sell it or not. So I thought people liked that though. And then last, I'm just like everybody else. I submit every Topps update Juan Soto that exists, and they all come back 10s. And so thankfully I wasn't any different. But appreciate all the positive comments, and hope everybody has a good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.